foods, supplements, and substances that help or hinder your ability to heal. This article I'm just completing has so much detailed information, so I will definitely be reading from the article itself. And with that, let's dive into it. I'm Ben Ufana. So when most people think about healing heartbreak, they imagine therapy, meditation, journaling, or talking with a friend who understands. Very few people realize that what they put into their body every single day has an enormous impact on their ability to digest their lived experiences, to work with the painful emotions tied to it, to stabilize their nervous system, and move through heartbreak in a way that leaves them more resilient, having truly grown from the experience. Most people think heartbreak is purely emotional, yet it's far more than that. It's biochemical, hormonal, neurological, and somatic. When someone breaks your heart or triggers an old attachment wound, you don't just feel sad. Your body is flooded with cortisol, adrenaline, and neurochemicals that intensify every emotion. The nervous system becomes dysregulated, digestion weakens, sleep is disrupted, cravings escalate, and the brain becomes far more reactive. And everything you eat or drink feeds directly into that internal chemistry. Every meal either supports your ability to heal or makes it harder to let go. Certain foods and substances calm the nervous system, balance your hormones, and clear the emotional fog so that you can process what you're feeling. Others amplify anxiety, intensify rumination, and push you deeper into emotional fixation. If you want to heal heartbreak at the deepest level, not just intellectually, but emotionally, biologically, and somatically, then what you put into your body becomes an essential part of the process. When someone you love disappears, rejects you, ghosts you, betrays you, or walks away, your body doesn't just feel sad, it goes into a full-blown physiological crisis. This is why heartbreak feels so overwhelming, destabilizing, and impossible to think your way out of. Here's what actually happens inside of you. Your dopamine drops, which means your motivation, energy, and internal reward system crashes. Everything feels flat, dull, and pointless. Oxytocin and vasopressin also falls. These are the bonding hormones that create emotional safety. The loss of these bonding hormones feels like withdrawal because in many ways it is. Cortisol spikes. Your system enters a state of emotional emergency and your body reacts as if you're in danger. Your gut-brain axis becomes disrupted. Heartbreak constricts the gut, disrupts digestion, and sends inflammatory signals to the brain. And this is why people feel nauseous, lose their appetite, and binge on comfort foods. Your nervous system becomes overwhelmed. Instead of digesting your lived experiences and emotions, your system is flooded with emotions you cannot metabolize. This is why emotional digestion is not a metaphor. It is the foundation of real healing. Again, heartbreak isn't just psychological. It's chemical, hormonal, neurological, and profoundly somatic, which means your recovery has to work on all of these levels, not just the mind. We've all heard the stories, and most of us have lived them. Someone gets their heart broken and ends up on the couch with a pint of ice cream, or they're binging on chocolate bars, numbing themselves with television or endless scrolling. Others go out drinking to drown their sorrows. Some smoke or get high. Some reach for anything that promises relief, even for a moment. And it's understandable, because when emotional pain becomes unbearable, we instinctively reach for anything that dulls it. But here's what most people fail to learn. The very foods and substances people reach for during heartbreak are the same ones that keep them trapped in it. These foods destabilize the nervous system, inflame the gut, suppress emotional digestion, amplify anxiety, and prolong suffering. Heartbreak is difficult enough, but when you're ingesting refined sugar, alcohol, nicotine, or anything else that stresses your body and interferes with its ability to process heartbreak, you're making the entire experience far more difficult, intensifying the pain and prolonging it. Whether you're going through a breakup or divorce, you've been ghosted, or you're struggling with old attachment wounds, the following foods and substances can seriously interfere with your ability to metabolize your lived experiences of loss and the emotions tied to them. Refined sugar throws your emotional stability off, spiking and crashing your energy, dysregulating the gut, amplifying anxiety, and weakening emotional resilience. Sugar also disrupts the brain's chemistry, impairing focus, mood regulation, and your ability to process emotion. It creates the emotional highs and crashing lows that make heartbreak feel even more intense. Alcohol initially increases dopamine, which is part of the reason people feel a temporary sense of relief. But very quickly, the brain overcorrects, which means dopamine drops, motivation falls, mood crashes, anxiety increases, and emotional resilience weakens. This crash is one of the reasons you feel worse the next day emotionally, mentally, and physically. And beyond that, alcohol deadens the pain inside of you rather than helping you process it. For those who smoke, nicotine gives you a quick dopamine hit followed by a steep crash, worsening emotional rumination and intensifying the repetitive thoughts about the person who hurt you. And this can lead to more anxiety, emotional volatility, and impaired emotional regulation. Smoking also damages the body and brain on multiple levels, inflaming your system, weakening circulation, impairing oxygen flow, and disrupting the very neurochemical processes you need in order to heal. Nicotine also restricts blood flow, especially to the heart and brain, which further exacerbates emotional shutdown. Cannabis or weed may take the edge off, but it also blocks the deeper work your mind and body needs to heal. It suppresses REM sleep, disrupts memory consolidation and emotional integration. It intensifies dissociation, weakens your ability to stay present, and also increases long-term anxiety. Heartbreak requires presence. Cannabis leaves you more dissociated, fragmented, and unable to fully digest your lived experiences or emotional responses. Antidepressants and other psychotropic medications interfere with the digestion of your lived experiences and emotions, which is essential for real healing. And they make it harder for you to stay present in your body. They can bring a short-term sense of stabilization by dulling distressing emotions, but that same numbing effect blocks the deeper processes needed to truly heal the deep emotional wounds and transform yourself at the core. Heavily processed foods inflame the gut, destabilize neurochemistry, and increase emotional reactivity. All of this makes heartbreak heavier, more chaotic, and far more overwhelming. Excessive caffeine spikes cortisol, intensifies obsessive thinking, amplifies anxiety, and destabilizes the nervous system. When your system is already overwhelmed, caffeine tightens the gut, overstimulates the body, and pushes your emotions further out of balance. It makes you far more reactive, not more resilient. Now, over the past 3.5 decades of working with people, I've seen again and again that the body must be able to process emotion for the heart to heal. And the body simply cannot do that when it's inflamed, dysregulated, undernourished, or chemically destabilized. So let's talk now about the foods and supplements that support emotional healing and the kinds of nourishment your system actually needs during heartbreak. These foods, instead of numbing you, actually nourish you. They help strengthen and rebuild the physiological foundation required for emotional digestion and nervous system stability. Healthy fats that stabilize your nervous system include wild-caught fish such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel, avocado, extra virgin olive oil, walnuts, almonds, flax, and chia. Healthy fats calm the nervous system, support emotional regulation, and reduce the inflammation that makes heartbreak feel heavier and harder to move through. Gut healing foods that restore emotional stability, and these include fermented foods like kefir, yogurt, kimchi, and sauerkraut. Prebiotic foods such as garlic, onions, asparagus, and leeks, and bone broth. When your gut is supported and functioning well, your emotional stability improves, your mind settles, and you have more capacity to process what heartbreak brings to the surface. Anti-inflammatory foods, turmeric, curcumin, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables. These foods help to bring your nervous system back into balance. As inflammation settles, your mind becomes clearer, your mood steadier, and your body more capable of doing the deeper emotional work heartbreak requires. Foods that stabilize blood sugar, sweet potatoes, legumes, whole fruits like apples and pears. When your blood sugar crashes, your mood, focus, and emotional resilience crash with it, making heartbreak feel far more chaotic than it needs to be. Stable blood sugar supports stable emotional presence. Magnesium-rich foods include pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, cacao, and black beans. Magnesium helps quiet an overreactive nervous system, ease anxiety, and support the emotional digestion needed to metabolize the sadness, grief, and painful emotions that surface during loss. So let's talk now about the supplements that support the healing of heartbreak. These supplements help regulate the biochemical and physiological states that heartbreak disrupts, supporting emotional digestion, nervous system stability, and mental clarity during times of painful loss. Omega-3 fish oils support emotional well-being, stabilize mood, improve mental clarity, and calm the nervous system, especially when you're under emotional strain or experiencing heightened anxiety. Magnesium glycinate quiets an overreactive nervous system, reduces anxiety, releases muscular tension, and improves sleep, all essential for processing painful emotions and restoring inner balance. NAC, N-acetylcholine, helps break obsessive thought loops, eases intrusive thoughts, and steadies the mind when heartbreak hijacks your clarity. Curcumin, a powerful anti-inflammatory that reduces swelling in the gut and brain, helping restore emotional equilibrium. CoQ10 supports mitochondrial energy and cellular repair when emotional shock, exhaustion, or overwhelm drains your system. NAD boosters such as nicotinamide mononucleotide are precursors, the raw materials your body uses to create NAD+, the molecule essential for cellular energy, DNA repair, metabolic function, and healthy aging. They help restore energy, mental clarity, focus, and emotional resilience, especially when heartbreak leaves you depleted and struggling to stay grounded. Resveratrol and astaxanthin reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, which amplify emotional pain and slow healing. Adaptogens such as bacopa, gotu-kola, and moringa strengthen the nervous system, stabilize emotional responses, and enhance cognitive clarity. DIM and boron support hormonal balance, which is often disrupted by emotional distress, prolonged anxiety, and the physiological shock of loss. Spermidine promotes cellular renewal and deep internal repair during periods of intense emotional stress or grief. Apigenin calms nighttime rumination, it quiets the nervous system, and supports deeper restorative sleep, giving your system the space it needs to metabolize painful emotions more effectively. Phosphatidylserine reduces cortisol, eases mental overwhelm, improves focus, and helps the brain integrate what you're feeling rather than becoming overwhelmed by it. If you happen to be watching this on YouTube, you'll find the link to the article where you'll find all this information that you can look up for yourself, all these supplements. I encourage you to do your research because there's vast difference in quality of these various supplements, and you need to make sure that you're getting good quality supplements. So let's talk about how to eat while you're healing. It's important to choose warm, grounding foods because cold foods tighten the gut and make emotional digestion more difficult. Warm cooked meals help your body to relax and process what you're feeling. Be sure to add more healthy fats because they help to stabilize you emotionally and keep your whole system steadier as you move through the waves of heartbreak. Be sure to eat at consistent times because your nervous system depends on stable blood sugar. When your eating schedule swings wildly, your emotional stability does too. Avoid late night eating because at night your body needs its energy for processing emotion, not heavy digestion. Give it the space to do the deeper work. And stay hydrated. Heartbreak dehydrates the system. Water and fluids help you to stay clearer, more grounded, and emotionally present. Healing a broken heart requires deep emotional processing. Your mind and body must be resilient enough to metabolize both your lived experiences and the emotional responses tied to them. Diet is an essential part of that healing. Everything you take into your body either works against you, stressing your system and making it far more difficult to do the deep emotional processing your healing requires, or it helps your system to do the deeper emotional work required to heal, allowing you to move through heartbreak with greater resilience, presence, and ease. Diet and supplements are just one part of a much wider process, one that goes far deeper than what we put into our bodies. The individual sessions I offer facilitate the deep level processing of your lived experiences and the emotions tied to them, which is necessary to effect true healing. I offer individual sessions by phone and in person. Message or call me at 332-333-5155 or visit benufana.com, teachmetomeditate.com, or healmyheartache.com to learn more.